So tell me this has happened to you before. The guy you've been taking your car to for the last 20 years buys an RV, packs up his stuff, and ships himself down to Florida. You go to his shop and it's empty, the doors are locked, and there's rotten garbage stinking up the lot. And that smell, that's the smell of private equity tearing up the car business. And I'm gonna tell you why it's happening, and more importantly, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do about it. Back in 1968, my grandfather started a transmission business right here in my hometown. It was the first of its kind in this area, and now it's been feeding our family for 3 generations. But times are changing, and it's becoming harder and harder to make money when working on cars, especially fixing transmissions. So what happened from 30 years ago to now to make this difference? By the way, we took our trash out. Well, the biggest difference is 30 years ago, cars were simpler, easier to fix, parts were more affordable, and you could fix them and still help people out while making a little bit of money. I mean, look at this old Chrysler Yorker here. You can buy every part for that at O'Reilly's, and it's pretty cheap, and they're really simple to fix. Nowadays, it's like every car you buy is a BMW. They all run off computers. They need special parts from overseas that cost a lot of money, and when you go to replace those parts, they're not easy to get to. It raises the cost of labor, which raises the price, which makes it harder for small guys like us to make more money and help you out. You see that car right there? It's classic. It's simple. It's simply classic. And that's what I miss right there. I'd rather have my hands in a car like that for 2 weeks than 2 hours on a Tesla. And that's just the way I'm built. But the nature of the beast is nowadays we gotta fix these cars to help people out. But unfortunately, it's becoming harder and harder for us to make money doing it. 30 years ago, heck, 10 years ago, it was pretty easy to fix somebody's car, do it for cheap, help them out, all while making a little bit of money. Nowadays, we're lucky if we even get Salisbury steak for dinner, making the money we do now working on these junk vehicles. I mean, a few years ago, not even 3 years ago, you could fix somebody's car, do it for a couple hours labor, have enough money to go buy yourself a steak dinner, Coors Light, and call it a night. But this is all changing now. And it's not by coincidence, it's by design from the manufacturers. Let me show you. 15 years ago, Ford came out with these pieces of crap. It's got a 1.6 liter or a 1.5 liter turbo paired up to a piece of junk 6F35 transmission. It's a 6-speed automatic, and they're toy transmissions. They go bad all the time. But the biggest problem is they cost a fortune to fix. 1, because they're hard to get out of the car, and 2, because the parts are so expensive. I mean, a rebuild kit for one of those things costs about $400 to $500. Then you got to buy a valve body, which costs $600 to $700. And then you'll have to buy a torque converter, which costs $200 to $300. You're already in $1,500 before you even take it apart. Then you got to account for labor to get it in and out of the car, which takes about 8 hours. And at a general labor rate, you're looking at like $800 to $1,200 for that. So now we're already up to $2,500. And look at this car. It's probably barely worth $4,000. Not to mention we haven't even added in fluid or programming yet. And the value on that car just keeps going down while the repair costs keep going up. So tell me how I'm supposed to help somebody out fixing that piece of junk when it costs too much to repair. So don't get me wrong, I have nothing against 6-speed automatic transmissions, except for the one that's in that Ford and the ones that Chevy uses, which is basically the same design that Ford uses, especially when it comes to front wheel drive. Now, this old Chevy here has an old 4-speed transmission in it, and that transmission is a 4L60E. It's pretty simple to rebuild, you can still buy good parts for it, and that's why a lot of these trucks are still on the road. And it's paired up to a 5.3 liter engine, especially that one, which is pre-DOD delete, which means they're not turning off cylinders at stoplights, which damage cylinders and can tear the whole engine up. Kind of like the one that's in this white Yukon over here. And the 6-speed transmission that's in that white Yukon costs twice the amount to fix than the one that's in this old blue truck. So that's the difference between an old vehicle and the newer vehicles. They have more technology that costs more to repair and just tears the vehicles up. Tell me if you ever heard this before. I bought Chevys all my life, and I'm gonna continue buying Chevys. But the problem is the Chevys being made now are not the same as the Chevys made 20 years ago. Even the guy holding his camera, his parents said they always bought Chevys and they were always gonna buy Chevys. And when they went to go get a new car a few months ago, they came home with a Subaru. And that's because these Chevys now, are crap. They got new technology in them that costs way too much to repair, and they're monopolizing the market on the parts by designing them where only their parts work. Let me show you. That right there is a 2018 GMC Denali. It's got a 6.2 liter V8 paired up to an 8-speed automatic 8L90 transmission, which may sound great, but honestly, it's like the worst platform you can buy right now. That 6.2 liter has a connecting rod failure that's under recall because they didn't pick good enough connecting rods in them at the factory, and they could fail at any moment. I've seen them fail as early as 5,000 miles. The 8-speed automatic transmission also has a recall for various reasons, but the main one being a premature failure of the torque converter clutch that causes a shuddering sensation at about 45 miles an hour. Not very comfortable to drive for a Denali mom. But the problem is getting the parts to fix those recalls is almost impossible. I mean, finding an 8-speed automatic transmission just became available like this past month. They've been on significant back order because they're all pieces of crap. And the same deal with the 6.2 liter engine. If you go to get those recalled, it might be on indefinite back order because they can't get the connecting rods quick enough to fix all the ones that have failed because the aftermarket hasn't caught up to the problem yet and hasn't developed a fix for it. But one day they will, and then we'll be able to fix that for a lot cheaper. But it takes years for that stuff to happen, and the demand is high right now. And the only place you can get parts is from GM. Clip this and drop it in your Denali Mommies Facebook group. That car is a piece of crap, and the only reason you got it is because you can't afford a Sequoia. We'll have a gang of moms coming to hunt me down now.
There's worse ways to die.
I mean, the Denali moms are already after me because I got to fix all their transmissions. So it's just to add fuel to the fire. You see, Ford and GM, they're on the same page when it comes to the parts monopoly. These Fords right here, if you were to go buy catalytic converters from them and they're not Ford OEM parts, they're just simply not going to work right. Ask me how I know. Because I tried to put a cheap aftermarket one on one of these Fords and it didn't fix the problem. And the only way we could fix it is going to Ford, buying the expensive cat, putting it on, and it finally took out the check engine light. And in an emissions county or an emissions law state, you gotta have that check engine light off or you won't pass inspection. So remember, when you're buying these cars, you're not only buying the piece of junk car, you're buying all the piece of junk parts that Ford monopolizes. They don't make very much when they sell brand new cars, and they make up for it by making cheap parts that you have to update later, especially after warranty periods. That way you gotta pay Ford for it. They'll also up the price of those parts after the warranty period. It's a monopolistic system. It's not right, and it's not how you help people out, and in my opinion, it's not how you build a car. Now, it's hard to get away from this stuff because the Asian market's in on it too, except they're doing it with the entire transmission. You see this Subaru and that Nissan back there, they got a CVT transmission, which if you watch this channel, you should know that I hate those things. And the main reason is because you can't fix them. I mean, I could physically fix them if I could get the parts, but neither Subaru or Nissan will sell you internal CVT transmission parts. The only thing they really will sell you is a valve body, fluid, and maybe a filter if you're lucky. And that's it. Everything else that makes those transmissions work is unavailable for you to buy from the dealership. And that makes it hard for guys like me to fix your car for a good cost. Because the only way I could fix your transmission is by replacing the entire thing. And the only place I can really get it is from the Subaru dealership or the Nissan dealership. So they're putting out all this new technology like CVT transmissions in the name of fuel efficiency. And Ford's doing it with 10-speed transmissions because they tried CVTs once and it didn't go so well. If you ever owned a Freestyle, you know what I'm talking about. And honestly, the 10 speeds aren't going that well either. They got a lot of problems. I mean, an F-150 from 2005 will cost you like $2,000 to rebuild the transmission. But this one from 2025 is gonna cost you like $4,000 to $5,000, maybe even $6,000 to rebuild the transmission. And that's because the labor to get it out is a lot, and the parts on the bench cost a whole lot of money. I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars in parts just to rebuild that thing and make sure it works once you put it back in the car. They claim this is all for fuel efficiency, but for me, it's for currency. They want to squeeze every last cent out of this car they can. And even once you get the transmission rebuilt, reinstalled into the car, buy the fluid from Ford that's required for it, fill it up, you still gotta pay money because this thing requires flash programming so it'll drive correctly. And if you don't install the flash programming and you drive it, it'll void your warranty from Ford. It's probably gonna be the first question they ask you when you tell them your brand new 10-speed's not working right. Did you program it? No, your warranty's void. Tell me this, when's the last time you heard somebody say, my 8-year-old Toyota needs a transmission? You haven't. That's because it won't happen. But with Fords, we hear it almost every day. So watching this video, it may seem like all new cars are terrible, but they're not all bad. And if you made it this far in the video, I feel obligated to tell you. So I'll make you a deal. Hit the subscribe button for me, and I'll tell you what cars you should buy. Like Toyotas. Toyotas are my favorite brand, but you gotta be careful because there is some recalls out now. But most of the Toyotas out on the road are good, reliable vehicles. They just cost a whole lot of money. You could also look at Hondas, which are a little more affordable and still just as reliable. But the problem is the market already knows what cars are good and what cars are bad before you do. And you gotta look for deals wherever you can find them. And the best place you can usually find deals is finding an older car that you know the problems with, and everybody knows the problems with, and knows how to fix, that you could find with low mileage at a good cost. It's not easy to do, but if you know what you want and you know what you're looking for, you know what to find. So here's a quick tip. If you want a transmission that'll last forever, there's a technology out there that has been around for a very long time. And it pretty much guarantees the life of your transmission. It puts you in control and it goes like clutch in, gear shift down, accelerator pedal, clutch out, wheels go fast. It's a manual transmission. And not only is it a great technology to ensure the life of your car, it's easy to fix, and it's a pretty good anti-theft device as well. Not a lot of people know how to drive a manual transmission. And honestly, it's not that hard. The old guy from the last video could probably show you how to do it. You see, I see all these problems happening, and I see that these newer cars like this are junk. And a lot of the older cars were built a lot better. And they're not that old either. Cars from 10 to 15, 20 years ago reached the point of durability and performance, the peak of both. And these are some of the best cars ever made. I call it the golden age. And what I'm gonna start doing is using the powertrains from those cars and pitting them in to older cars, or even pitting them into some of the newer cars with lesser powertrains. And I'm already starting to do that. Here's my first project. This is a powertrain from a 2011 Honda Accord. It's a K24A block, made it up to a 5-speed manual transmission. That's right, K24 block with no AC compressor. One of the most reliable powertrains that Honda has ever built. Ford and GM, they can build whatever they want to build. But me and you, we're gonna build the baddest cars on the road, like that dune buggy right there. That thing is gonna be the baddest thing you've ever seen on the internet. And I can't wait to show it to you. And I got way more ideas just like that. I mean, picture this, a fresh 1985 K5 Blazer, all original interior, fresh paint on the outside, big old mud tires on it, clean frame, and a nice 6.0 LS power in that thing. With a T56 manual transmission, that thing's a rock crawler, a head turner, and a big old beast. That's the type of stuff I want to build. And we can also go the other direction, where we're pitting a 66 fastback Mustang with a good old Coyote Gen 1 engine in it, all while teaching you the same stuff I've always been teaching you. And the best way to help out is subscribe to the channel here and go to stay-dirty.com to get a hat like this and a cool shirt like this. Look, the dune buggy's even on this one, and the Tundra. You can also email me at justcallmeeddie1@gmail.com if you have any questions of your own. Thanks for watching, and whatever you do, make sure you work hard, make sure you play hard, and most importantly, make sure you stay dirty and subscribe. You can just call me Eddie. Wow. That's it.
Bam.